This is Business English, Chapter 1, and this is the parts of speech. I have 4 students in attendance today. Do I have your permission to record the lecture? Okay. Everybody's in compliance to have a recorded lecture today. We're going to begin with the pre-test at the beginning of the chapter. The controller and I carefully check the data on the company tax forms. Okay, the word "the" is identified as what part of the speech? Is it a preposition, pronoun, conjunction, or an adjective? Okay, got a preposition. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to identify all the parts of speech really quickly because instead of looking at it word to word, that may complicate it just a little bit. So I'm going to isolate each one of those components. Now the only thing is I wish I would have brought my Surface into this particular class session today because I can write on the screen. So this will not be posted whenever I actually upload it to, you won't be able to see me marking on the board in this particular scenario, which is something I'm going to have to figure out how to modify a little bit. But I'm going to look at who are the main actors in this particular sentence. Controller and then the word I. Those are the 2 actors, the ones that are doing something. So generally I underline nouns with a underline and pronouns, especially if they're acting as subjects of a verb. So the control and I, what did we do? We checked. So an action identifies what a verb is. So checked, I underline with 2 lines. And then what did I check? Data. Okay, so anytime that I can answer the question, what or who, after a verb, an action verb that is, answering the questions, what or who, after an action verb, then that particular word is going to be the direct object because it receives the action of that verb. So data is a direct object, and a direct object will either be a noun or a pronoun. In this case, it's just a thing, so it's a noun. Nouns are persons, places, things, occurrences, events, an attitude, and so it's a direct object that received the action of the verb checked. And then the word on the company forms. Anytime that you have a word that is linked to an object as well, is called a preposition. There are some issues associated with prepositions with us really knowing what the definition of each one of those little tiny words really mean. And we'll study prepositions in a later chapter. But you can think of a preposition as a word that links itself to a noun or a pronoun. The ant went over the hill. So over is a preposition, and that word over is linked to the object hill. Okay, the ant went under the hill. Under is a preposition that's linked to the hill. The ant went through the hill. The ant went throughout the hill. The ant went beneath the hill. The ant went around the hill. The ant went outside the hill. The ant went inside the hill. The ant went through the hill. The ant went above the hill. The ant went below the hill. See, all those words are showing a direct link from that word to the object. And the object's always a noun or a pronoun. You will never have a verb in a prepositional phrase. So this preposition on is linked to forms. Okay, so now we can go ahead and fill in the blanks and identify all the different pieces of the puzzle in this particular sentence. The controller, a, an, and the, those are called articles, and all articles function as a verb, as an adjective. Sorry about that. Let's back up. All articles A and the function as adjectives. They describe. Adjectives ask the questions, what kind, which one, how much, and how many. Which controller? The controller. So the is an adjective. It's also an article. Then and is a word that links two subjects. So linking words like and, but, or, nor, for, so, and yet are called conjunctions. And then how did I check it? I checked it carefully. Okay, adverbs ask the questions how, when, where, to what degree, and to what extent. How, when, where, to what degree, and to what extent. And they always modify verbs, adjective, or other adverbs. So how did I check? Check is a verb. How did I check it? I carefully checked it. So this word modifies a verb, so it must be an adverb, because adjectives, there's no way an adjective can modify a verb. Adjectives modify only nouns and pronouns, like the word the did, modified a noun. Okay, then the data, which data? The data. So that's an adjective / article that modifies the noun data. Okay, the word the again, adjective, article, and then company. What kind of forms or which forms? The company forms. So company modifies the noun forms. Tax, which form? Tax modifies the noun form, so both of those are adjectives modifying the noun forms. So there we filled in the blanks for each one of these. So the is an adjective, letter D. Number 2, controller is it doesn't say subject down here, it does say noun. So noun is your subject, controller, letter A, and is a conjunction, letter B. Now I've got to scroll. Number 4, I. Oh, goodness. I is a pronoun that's functioning as a subject. So I'm going to choose letter B on this one. It's I, we, you, he, she, it, they, me, us, you, him, her, it, them, my, mine, our, ours, your, yours, their, theirs, his, and hers, its. All of those are possessive pronouns, and a pronoun I generally circle unless it's being used as a role of a subject of a sentence. So I is a pronoun. Carefully, number 5 is an adverb. And then checked is a verb, letter C. And then 7, data is a noun. And 8, on is a preposition. 9, company is a noun. And then finally, number 10, forms is a noun. Okay, I will try to figure out how to make that work where I can write on the screen. I may have to use a different device in order to make that happen. But I just wanted to go through that pretest with you. Okay, then the next section, why study business English? Because it helps with the way that people perceive you in a business environment. There's so much more that goes along with being able to speak correctly, being able to write correctly, being able to punctuate sentences correctly, those types of issues. It's the way that you present yourself, the way that you carry yourself, the way others perceive you. Whenever you ask questions, are you asking questions to be able to help somebody else understand something a little bit better? Are you trying to understand something a little bit better? Are your questions annoying? Or are they beneficial in which everyone needs to know the answer to that particular question? So attitude also plays a major role in how you're perceived in a business environment. Good communication skills will actually help you land a better job, a better promotion within an organization. That's why we study this so carefully. Once you finish this class, you will have the skills that you can carry forth into the workforce in order to be a better employee and hopefully get better money and get those promotions that you hope to have throughout your career. It will also help you with your negotiation skills. and how to create contracts and whatnot in order to work on moving upwards within the organization. Also, learning how to communicate through email, other social media websites, promoting your organization through Instagram, through Snapchat. Snapchat is an excellent way to promote. Let's say that you're a fitness trainer. You can show your Snapchat videos of where you were at the beginning and where you are now as a result of changing nutritional types of programs and whatnot. Okay, here is a career tip. In this book right here, this is an old version that I have, but notice it says how on it. Now they've changed just the word how rather than how 10. This one has 10, meaning it's an old version. They don't even put the number out to the side of it any longer. But it's actually published by Cengage Publishing. It's a really good resource for you. It uses the Chicago Manual of Style, so it helps you with your capitalization based upon that particular style format. And any issue that you have, you'll be able to find in this particular handbook. So it is a good read, a good recommendation, something to keep by your desk whenever you're in the workplace. In addition, I have some copies of some tips for all the parts of speech. So I'll go ahead and hand those out to you now. And you can keep these available throughout the semester. There's also a copy on your learning management system, whether it be Canvas or D2L. We'll refer to this quite frequently. Okay, the 8 parts of speech: nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, interjections, conjunctions, and prepositions. There's your 8 parts of speech. We will diagram those in a special way, just as I diagrammed it earlier in the session. That's a different way of diagramming. You've probably never seen it diagrammed that way. This simplifies it and makes it easier to understand. Okay, so nouns. There are proper nouns and common nouns. Proper nouns are nouns that are capitalized because they are focusing on respect of that particular noun, and they're generally people's names. And they are capitalized. And a noun refers to a person, place, thing, an activity, an event, a feeling, a quality that you may have. Let's look around this room. Here is a device. A device is a noun. It's a thing. A desk, a chair, a floor tile. The word floor tile used together is not a noun because the word floor describes what kind of a tile it is. So the word tile itself is the noun. It's a thing. Blinds, windows, board, door. Okay, as far as a proper noun is concerned, Mr. Wolf would be a proper noun. Professor Wolf would be a proper noun. Each of your names would be proper nouns. Common nouns are what I mentioned earlier. Here's some examples of persons that are all, these 2 persons right there, Jennifer and Dr. Kerr, are both proper nouns. And then manager, if that person's a manager, it's not proper. It becomes common then, just referring to who that person is. It's an indirect reference to Dr. Kern or a professor. Places, here's a proper noun, Milwaukee. A specific building is proper, is Empire State Building. But university is generic, it's common, so it's lowercase, as is the ocean. Which ocean? Then if I call it the Pacific Ocean, then it would be a proper noun. Things like the iPad, that's what I call it, iPad, and the Facebook, refrigerator, bicycle, and the proper nouns are capitalized. iPad is a brand name, and this is a spelling of it, even though we typically used to capitalize the first letter in the name. Now, that's not always the case. We may have 2 or 3 capitalized words in the name of the company, or the entire company name may be capitalized all the time. Qualities like impatience, honesty, integrity, initiative, enthusiasm. His enthusiasm for the project. Enthusiasm becomes the subject of that sentence, doesn't it? It's a noun. It's a quality. Feelings, happiness, anger, disbelief, or euphoria. My anger gets me in trouble most of the time. Anger is the feeling that's being expressed as a noun for the following verb. Concepts like knowledge, freedom, friendship. His friendship is waning. Friendship is the subject for the linking verb is. And then activities like tweeting, investing, dancing, and eating, all of those are common nouns, and measures like month, thousand, once, and kilometer. Nouns perform as subjects of sentences, as objects of prepositions, as direct objects, and many other components within sentences as well. Okay, pronouns replace nouns. If we had sentences if we didn't use pronouns in the English language, this is where we would be. Devin sent the text message to Linda so that Linda could read the text message before making Linda's decision. Now you know why we use pronouns to replace nouns. Devin sent the text message to Linda so that she, pronouns replace nouns, could read it before making her decision. Very awkward if we did not have pronouns in the English language. Other pronouns where they're used as subjects of verbs is I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Pronouns that are used as objects of verbs, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. And then we have possessive case pronouns like my, mine, our, ours, your, yours, their, theirs, his, hers, and its. Verbs show actions, occurrences, or state of being. An action verb is physical. It's something that really happens. Jump, shout, complete, do, finish. You can see the action in each one of those words. Actions complete the subject's action. Linking verbs are more of a state of being, and they are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. And then there's also some linking verbs associated to feelings, like the word feel, taste, smell, hear, listen, appears. Those are linking verbs as well, especially if they take a complement. I feel indifferent. Okay, I is a pronoun that's functioning as a subject. Feel is my linking verb. There's no action there. And so anytime that you have a linking verb, the word that answers what or who after that particular linking verb usually is a complement because it complements the subject. In fact, they call it a subject complement. I feel indifferent about what happened. So feel is just a state of being, and indifferent is an adjective that describes the noun, I. But that's really important that you recognize that the linking verbs may be feels, appears, tastes, touch, sounds, seems, and looks. Especially if it follows, the word that follows is an adjective or describes the subject. Then there's helping verbs that help the verbs complete their meaning a little bit better. Here is just a regular action verb. Deborah submitted her application to become a legal secretary. That's just an action verb. Her resume is 1 page long. So the word is has no action, so it's linking. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. But now, here is the word been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been That's linking. But if it's used to complete the meaning of another action verb, then it's just called a helping verb. So now she has been training. So that becomes what is called a verb phrase. Deborah feels bad. Okay, feels is a linking verb because there's no action there. It's just a state of her being. She has that feeling. I feel bad. Deborah feels bad. So bad is an adjective that describes Deborah. That she will be leaving. Now will be are, even though those are linking verbs, am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been, it's being used in conjunction with a regular action verb. So now it becomes a verb phrase. Is it 1:45? Wow, I'm having fun. Okay, go ahead and read through the remainder of the chapter. We will complete this, by the way, the next class period. So I'll go ahead and stop the video, and I will try to merge it to next class period's video as well. Any questions? Hope you all have a great semester. Do not give up. Failure is not an option.